franchising is the most democratic wealth creation model there is. Through franchising, many thousands, tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of franchisees have built wealth for their families, created jobs, created economic output. We've got the many working together for the benefit of the system.
If you want to coach your team for higher levels of performance, you got to focus separately on their skill set and on their mindset for a given task. And then you need to apply the best corresponding coaching based on that diagnosis. And if you're willing to invest just that little bit of time, that 30 seconds to properly diagnose and coach, you're going to get such better performance from your employees, and you're going to have a much easier time growing your business.
In any moment, a human being will always sort of move to something urgent, even at the expense of something far more important. And the problem is that the day job, sometimes what people call the real work, that moment to moment pressing urgency of keeping the operation going, always feels more urgent than even the most necessary and critical strategies, right? So, and no leader gets a pass on this. This has always been sort of the great conundrum to strategic execution, overcoming this urgency trap.
It is important to be cautious. It shows that you're careful, and we can't predict where this thing is going to go right now or how long it's going to take to contain it. But what we can predict is terrible what-if situations. You know your business better than anybody, and if you sat down with your team and said, okay, what are all the things that could possibly go wrong? It's important for you to run those what-if scenarios and to understand and develop contingency strategies for if those things happen. It's kind of like insurance. You hope you never need it, but it's a really good thing to have.
It's never a price question. If you've got people in your organization that are struggling to deal with the price question, you need to train them that it's not price. Anytime someone says a question about price, it's always a question about value. But again, as an action step, if you really want to increase your sales, stop worrying about your prices and ask yourself, are you really communicating value? And is the value really benefit?
When you go back to your respective situations and your respective franchise teams, if you keep doing what you've been doing, you'll keep getting what you've been getting. If you don't like what you've been getting, you need to change what you've been doing. And the very first step to closing performance gaps and to improving performance is to drill down on the fundamentals. It's to understand the importance of the basics.
How you handle your business over the next 6 months will determine your success over the next 6 years. Remember, 54% of consumers have used a business for the first time since the pandemic. They are ready to try new options, and 89% of them are looking to stick with this new provider. 28% of customers say that price is actually less important than it was pre-pandemic. And that's given the fact that several people are really struggling financially.
It's enough to make you believe that success isn't possible for your franchise, but nothing could be further than the truth. There is so much opportunity in today's marketplace if you know where to look, if you know where to focus, and you understand the strategies that are going to put you in a position to truly emerge successful.
Anytime there is a crisis, it gives us an opportunity to be able to learn and to grow. Grow our businesses, grow personally, grow stronger relationships with our family, our kids. We've learned how to do a lot of things because we were forced to learn how to do a lot of things. We can look at 2020 as being a positive year if we choose to.
The trend is your friend. Now, what I mean by this is don't just wake up and look at the news, because that's not going to help you. That's already too late. And set that aside. If it's the left or the right, you're going to get a jaded perspective on what's next anyway. We've got to find a way as leaders to work in the middle. We're going to find a way to get data from as many different sources as we can, such that we can navigate our way to the real position of our business, the real impact of our strategy on that business, and what we're going to do to find a way to get ahead of the curve, to get ahead of the trend.
Recognize what you've got in common. Now, there are two things that will always connect franchisors and franchisees is a shared passion for the brand and a shared commitment to creating happy customers. When we feel at odds with others, our mind tends to focus on what we disagree on. We tend to start to move apart. When you talk about what you have in common, you're both going to start to feel more positive toward each other.
My message for you today is just to think bigger about what you're doing. And I know you've got this established business model, but every business model, including yours, is going to evolve right now over the next 6 months. Right? We're going to change more in the next 6 months than we will in the next 6 years. This is a time of change. Is look at technology as a solution, as where we're going in the future. The adoption of technology is going to accelerate as a result of this pandemic for your business and for all businesses.
Limitations can drive creativity. And as an artist, what are you always looking for? You're always looking for more ways to be creative. And I was like, okay, well, if limitations can drive me creatively, what else can I come up with? How else can I push myself creatively with limitations? And so this idea that limitations drive creativity is like, okay, let me take this a step further. What would be like the ultimate limitation? How could I create in a way that would be like just the pinnacle point of a constraint? And so the idea that I came up with was actually to be an artist without art. What would that look like? To actually destroy all of my art. And it took me a little while to come up with what the idea was, but the idea that I had was maybe there's a way that I could actually spend a year destroying the art, just destroy everything.